Peace and blessings. Another article. Power dynamics in a sexual relationship. One part of our sex life is power roles. If you take a closer look at your relationship to sex, you will likely recognize that you tend to play a certain role in the power structure of sex. At the very basic level, there is the dominant role and the submissive role. To be clear, I'm not referring to kink lifestyles here. In basic vanilla relationships, you can see a basic power dynamic of some partners who tend to be more submissive and some who tend to be more dominant. You can also find people who are comfortable in both roles. I could be dominant and I could be submissive. But it depends on who it is. Because I have found myself being dominant with this particular person who I might have a relationship with, and then I may be submissive. It depends on the person. People who prefer the dominant role tend to call more of the shots during a sexual interaction. These people tend to initiate sex more and generally lead the show while sex occurs. This person will suggest different positions, guide their partner through the kissing and touching, and be more assertive about what steps they will take to move the sexual act. A person who is dominant in the bedroom does not necessarily have to be dominant in life. People who take more of a submissive role will usually not initiate sex as much as a dominant person would. They will respond to their partner's advances for sex, but they generally don't prefer to take the lead. They take a go-with-the-flow approach to sex. They are generally open to their partner's suggestions and like to be guided along. Just as in the case with dominance, a person who is submissive in the bedroom does not necessarily have to be submissive in life. Also, in each case, a person can move out of either a submissive or dominant at times. For example, a submissive man initiates sex with their partner, even suggests a few ideas. Then here, the same is true for a dominant. They may go along for the ride with their partner at times. To be titled the submissive or the dominant simply means that as a sexual person, you tend to prefer one or the other more. There are also plenty of people who might identify as right in the middle, equally enjoying both the dominant and submissive roles. Typically, if you have one dominant and one submissive, things tend to run smoothly as long as each partner is happy with the frequency and quality of their sex life. The same is true for two submissive and two dominants, so long as they can be flexible and practice regularly stepping out of their typical roles. How does these roles negatively affect a person's sex life? Consider two submissive in a relationship. If both partners prefer the other person to initiate more and take the lead, a variety of things can happen. In one common example, couples stop having sex altogether. They both keep waiting for the other person to try, and nothing happens, and they feel rejected. In another example, one submissive may take on more of the dominant role, but feel very bitter about it. They feel bitter because it's not easy for them to take on that dominant role, and they feel like they are the only one putting effort to the sexual relationship. The other submissive will usually go along with the sex they have, but will not understand why their partner gets so angry about initiating all the time. And yet another example, sometimes a person have mainly been in a relationship with dominance and their current partner is submissive. I have talked to couples in this situation. Often they describe their partner as weird or not normal. The reality is that both roles are very normal and both roles are not gender specific. While males may typically play the dominant role, there are plenty of men who prefer the submissive role. While females may play the submissive role, plenty of women enjoy taking on the dominant role. I could do both. There can sometimes be problems with two dominants in a relationship, but this depends on each of their flexibilities as people. For example, if they are both willing to flexibly move in and out of dominant and submissive roles, they find ways to take turns and probably still get along. However, if they are stubborn, then it may feel uncomfortable to not be in control. They may struggle to let the other person take the lead. Well, in any case, knowing your typical sexual power role can be helpful in determining whether you are sexually compatible with your partner. In cases where couples can't seem to put their fingers on the problem, when I discuss power dynamics, there is often mismatched power roles at play. Which power role do you feel most comfortable with? For me personally, like I said, I could be dominant or be submissive, but I damn sure don't want no submissive man. If I got to be dominant all the time and you submissive, Your ass got to go. Because I cannot be sitting in the bed at night or whenever part of the day and I'm all ready and you waiting for me to make a move. You got to go. Because I want a dominant man. Peace, blessings, a whole lot of love. God, this idea, get it.